Good to see you.
Alright there, Revenants, welcome back to Code Vein, and today I just wanted to take a random adventure here with you to show you a tank build where you basically can stay alive through anything, even inhibit, and most of your enemies, no matter how tough they are, they will definitely fall to this build. It's really incredible that with all the damage reductions that you can have active, plus all the iCore recoveries that you can have going at the same time, you can really do some great damage while at the same time having some really tanky abilities here. So the cool thing is that Focus Drain Boost will increase all your drain ratings by 50% from what they are on the card. So that goes for your Veil and your weapon. So it's like having a Devour Chrome on both of your weapon and your Veil at the same exact time that you are focused. So since we are going to be getting hit quite a bit, we're going to be focused all the time, pretty much, and we're also going to be able to take a lot of damage just because of Ablative Blood. So because this is EOS, and you can see there we just didn't take any damage at all, and we were able to slash through the attacks there because of Royal Heart while being focused all at the same time, so we're able to get off attacks whenever we kind of want, and because we have Regenerative Drain running active as well, we're also able to recover the health that we're getting slapped around with. And you can see that some of these invasions that we're going to go through here are very difficult because of the inhibit ladies, while at the same time we have just enough damage to take everybody down, while at the same time we have enough damage mitigation that we can have Mia alive pretty much all the time. Even if she goes down, our build doesn't depend on her. This is a independent of your partner, independent of whoever you're running with. It really doesn't matter who you're running with, and if you're running solo, obviously you can get rid of Modest Offering there, and you can go for something extra on your own, but the real pressure comes in when you get inhibited. But as you can see here, for this Cathedral invasion here, which is really tough overall, it doesn't matter what difficulty you're playing on, max difficulty, 0 star, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is really tough. But we have the Damarung along as well, just to make sure that we have another 25% damage reduction that's multiplicative here with all of our other damage reductions, and so it's really great that we have access to that. And as you can see here, Mia is completely gone, and we're going to be able to get through here just fine. No real big issues that we got to speak of. Even though we're inhibited, we have no partner, no nothing. We will absolutely be able to get through here with almost full health, if not full health. You'll notice that from here on out, the rest of the invasions that we're going to go through, we don't use any healing. There's no healing that we do. And the reason being is that the build and the blood code and the backstab potential plus the charge attack plus the quick drains that we have access to will get plenty of health back regardless of what we're doing. And as you can see here in areas of the Cathedral where you can pick enemies up with a Hound's Veil and throw them over the railing, you can get rid of them very easily and they're no longer a problem or an issue. So it's really effective here in the Cathedral. It's really effective everywhere. And you might be asking how it bosses. Well, that comes a little later towards the end. But as of right now, you can see that we took that invasion down really no problem, and we're pretty much at full health with no real issues, no real problem. And we have monstrous amounts of iCore all the time, which is great because every time we get hit with Ablative Blood, right, it's 3 iCore for 50% damage reduction. But because we have such high defenses already because of Iron Will and a fortified GXL Defender, and we have a Foul Blood Barrier active, we really don't take a whole lot of damage pretty much any amount of the time. And because we have Regenerative Drain, we're getting back a huge amount of iCore, or a huge amount of health based on whichever enemies we're attacking. And so no matter what damage we're taking, we're recovering it all the time because of launches, because we're focused most of the time, and because we can get focused at the same time getting our drain ratings up, that plays in exceptionally well with Ablative Blood. So we'll be able to get a huge amount of iCore back just from slashing the enemy, and then we'll be able to get a huge amount of damage reduction by hitting the enemy as well because of Ablative Blood, working in tandem with double Iron Will and a huge defense on the GXL Defender with Foul Blood Barrier. So all of this works together here very, very well to make sure that you're mitigating damage as best as you can. As you can see there, Mia picks us up, which gives us a huge amount of defense to our Veil as well. So now if we get everything going, and that is the real challenge with this setup, is to get all of your buffs going at the same time. But once you get everything going at the same time, my goodness, you are super tank. And the thing you have to remember is to switch to the Damarung in between the different attacks and such. Okay, Mia. And the cool thing is to switch in between the fight to the Damarung, do a charge attack, get that extra Iron Will going, that extra 25% damage reduction. And you can see here with this invasion, this one is actually pretty tough as well because these enemies in here are very big, very chunky, and they do inhibit damage, and so you will lose all of your gifts here and there along the way. But as you can see, you can take this one very, very well as well. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the Cathedral, the Ashen Cavern, you know, or here in the Void District, where you have a very, very difficult invasion because of these Blood Knights, and you need a huge amount of blood resist to actually be 100% invincible to them. But if you don't have blood resist, then that's okay. You can just go for this crazy physical amount of damage reduction. None of this makes you absolutely invincible. Well, there is one hit that you can take that's invincible, and that is when you have Foul Blood active with Ablative Blood and the double Iron Will. You can be invincible to one hit and one hit only. But the reason I picked White Mia, obviously, to bring with me is because of her Guardian Aid that she gives you when you go down, should you go down. But because you will be fairly high on your iPoi levels, which means you'll have really, really good damage reduction because of Ablative Blood, all the time, you'll be taking a huge reduction in your damage that's coming in. So even if you had 1,000 damage coming in, you would only be receiving let's see, about 250 that you would receive, but then you would get back 75% of that, so you'd only be losing about 62.5 health or something from about 1,000. So it's really, really crazy how much damage this entire setup can mitigate. And because you do have huge amounts of iCore recovery, you can continually apply Foul Blood Barrier, and the in-between time here of your drains gives you just amount of cooldown for a Foul Blood Barrier to come off of cooldown. So it's really, really good for that as well. Yeah, you can see here that as we go through these big chunky ladies and stuff here, it's really, really great that we're able to just stay in the fight. We don't really have to go anywhere. We don't have to do anything or think about anything. And we can continue just slapping away on the enemies here, regardless of which one we're fighting and who we're fighting. And having access to Tranquil Slice here really, really, really gives us a fantastic offensive gift. And the Crimson Longsword is kind of the thing that brings it all together here. If you didn't have the Crimson Longsword, obviously Tranquil Slice won't be doing what it's doing here with this build, so you definitely will need that for this setup to be as effective as it is. Otherwise, your damage output won't be strong enough to actually keep up with the enemies to put them down fast enough so you can, do other things along the way, like get iCore back, get your damage buffs up, and so on and so forth. But if you have the Crimson Longsword, it acts like a bayonet here, and that's really, really cool that we are running EOS, which has a very high mind value. And so because of that, we have really, really good access to high damage on the Crimson Longsword here with Tranquil Slice. So not only do we have really, really good damage reduction, while at the same time we have really, really good damage offensively. So you can see there that we were invincible for that one hit because we had everything running. And we'll switch back here to the Crimson Longsword to make sure that we have good enough iCore recovery because we don't want to be stuck in any way without huge amounts of ichor, because that's what makes all of this work, is the drain ratings that we have on when we get focused and when we are just running around with the sword and so on and so forth. So pretty good stuff here in this build. We got one more invasion that I'd like to take you through. It's in the Arachnid Grotto, and it's a fairly difficult one as well, because there's a lot of inhibit ladies through here, and if you lose out on all of your gifts, obviously, you know, things can go bad for you very, very quickly. And you can see there I tried to go for a little bit of quick drains, but it wasn't exactly the best use there because he was out of range. But even still, you can see that we're still up to almost full health through all of these engagements, regardless of who we're fighting and how much we're fighting. So really awesome that this can take place in such a way that you can be solo and you don't really need to focus on having an AI partner or a co-op partner or anything. And if you're running just a solo setup, this actually does far better than I anticipated it would do. I think I shared this on the Discord, but I wanted to see for myself exactly what it would do, because 9 times out of 10, actually like 10 times out of 10, when I put a build together, I never test it because it's all in theory, and only what you see here in the game is you know, what I actually go for, what's practiced, what's used, what's actually realized. But you can see here that even though getting inhibited from these purple ladies, it really doesn't matter what's going on with this, because you can see that we just move through it and we're still almost at 3,000 health, and these ladies do massive amounts of damage. But because our slash resist is at 64, we are, because of our vitality being so high at an A, we're able to take these hits regardless. And I just don't care about getting focused or about getting inhibited, because I know that I'll be able to survive through it, and I'll be able to get a bunch of launches and a bunch of backstabs and a bunch of quick drains to be able to recover all of the health that we're losing, if not more than what we're losing. So that's the entire point of a tank, is to be able to take the hits while at the same time being able to do some kind of offensive power. And if you can't take the hits in such a way that you can take the hits and keep moving through the damage that you're receiving, then the tank isn't really a very good tank. And so this tank ability set here gives you the ability to take the hits but also recover health at the same time, while at the same time being able to move through the damage that you're receiving, because most of the time you're focused and most of the time you have Royal Heart active. So that's how it adventures, and let's look at a couple of bosses here to see just how it bosses under some interesting circumstances here. So first one we got is Oliver. Obviously Crush is what we are weak to, and he does crush damage, so we take our skills here to see how it goes against a boss. Now remember, 79,200 or 79,800 is the HP that we gotta grind through here for Oliver. And you can see when we took that hit, because we had Foul Blood Barrier active, we are completely invincible to everything. So if Foul Blood's active and we're not taking a significant amount of damage, then we will be invincible to to one hit and one hit only. But that's still, you know, good enough to be invincible for one hit, because that might actually net you out, you know, some opportunity at some different junctures that you would be able to actually get off some offensive gifts or something like that. So here we just kind of finish Oliver off, easy peasy, no problem. And again, you can see in that last final strike there, we were able to finish out the Tranquil Slice because of having high enough balance and damage reduction that we were able to move through the damage. And here with the Gilded Hunter, typically you want to be blocking for him and stuff, that's what most folks do, but I prefer to take just the direct approach here and go straight for the throat on this. And the problem that we run into in this fight is we just don't have enough stamina. So as you can see here, we're attempting to get all our stamina back before we head back in there and go for the boy. And you can see there we're invincible for 1 hit. And then the rest of the attacks here, we just make sure that we continue the onslaught here. And we're still taking barely any damage, which is great. But our gifts are about to run out, so we're going to lose Cleansing Light, we'll lose Iron Will, we'll lose Ablative Blood. And now we're kind of vulnerable here. But we do need to recover a whole bunch of Ichor, but because of the sword we have, and Hunting Feast being active, oops, that was a bit of a miss, then we're still able to recover a huge amount of Ichor each swing of the sword, which is really, really nice. As you can see there, we're right back up to having Cleansing Light available to us, Foul Blood is available, and we do need a little bit more Ichor for Ablative Blood, but it doesn't matter because he's gone already. And with the Executioner here, she's definitely one of the really, really difficult ones, to say the least, because of slow. And if you are just constantly tanking some hits here and there, then you're going to run into the issues of, you know, you just don't have the damage reduction possible to actually maintain your presence in the fight, because you're either going to be slowed, or you're going to be knocked down all the time, or you're going to be hit by the slides or the bubbles when she does the spin to win. So this in this first spin, obviously Mia cancels it, so we don't get to see how well we do with the spin. But you can see there with the slide attack, we actually were able to mitigate 100% of that damage, which is really, really nice. So we got to get the second Iron Will going. Mia's gone, but we have just enough time to bring her back, luckily enough. And then now that all of our gifts are over, we gotta get Foul Blood, or we gotta get Ablative Blood and Iron Will and Cleansing Light going, so we can be back up to full value here. Now during the spin to win, you'll notice that we get hit here, boom, and we're now slow, and we don't have the reach in the sword that we would like to actually get over there to take her down. So, yep. Another hit, but you can see that we're still regenerating health basically the whole time because of Cleansing Light, and we're able to really, really stay in the fight very, very well, regardless of how much we're getting hit and such. And if you know anything about this boss, she does thousands of damage, and here we should definitely be dead during that spin to win, but because of Ablative Blood and double Iron Will being active, we were able to stay alive, and we only lost a couple hundred health there. Because of it. And again, you just keep hacking away on her and getting Ichor back, and you can really, really become a super gank. So I'll let you finish out the fight here. And no amount of damage can put us down, but we can put her down. Thanks guys for watching.